2317 meeting of Rotary Club Chandigarh Midtown is called to order. Good evening, fellow Rotarians, and chief guest of the evening, past District Governor Shaju Peter. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the club and myself, a man who is responsible for taking our club so high in the district and given shape to the club in every field, including in international. Up till now, he was the guiding force in our club before he left for Kerala. He is a motivator to dream big. Now, meeting is handed over to the president, please.
Thank you, Past President Prem, the Sergeant at Arms. Thank you, the lady, First Lady, for coloring. Friends, today, there are a big challenge that we are still meeting virtually. Anyway, the days are coming very near that we'll be meeting physically even. My most remembered, missed and loved were the keynote speaker, Shaju sir. Galaxy of past presidents, Rotarians, Rotarians, our prospective members, Chief Engineer Kuldeep Verma ji, his daughter Sakshi Verma, and there may be other members which I can't see them, but I was promised by Sanjana ji she'll join us, as well as I was promised by Bhupinder ji that he will also join us for the meeting today. A big welcome to all of you for joining us here today. It's a great evening for us that we have our own man addressing us on a topic of RI, which they have fixed for this month. Grateful to you, Shaju sir. Before we give a start, I would request our past president, Ravi Tulsi sir, to kindly invoke the invocation. Okay.
You see, when we started the invocation, the idea was to invoke with reference to the subject or to some our religious feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the subject of peace. Peace of mind, peace of society, peace of the total community. Shaju is going to speak on peace. I can only say that so long as we do not have mental peace, there is nothing beyond you can achieve. So let us hear from him what about the international peace, which comes within the four-way test of the Rotary. My mind is going to say, but the first Rotary test is it the truth? I am reminded of the book called Truth is God. Also, my experiments with truth. What is truth in Gurbani? In 3 words is Man manje sach soi. If you clean up your mind, you will reach the truth. And if you reach the truth, you will get peace. So Shaju, to you for peace. Thank you.
It's an honor. It's a great moment for Midtowners to meet our own leader. The man, who's loved by everyone, and the man who's a guide to every Rotarian, the man who's an encyclopedia to Rotary, and a live wired connectivity. Wherever he is, people are connected, or he's connected with them, this skill, this art is beyond anybody's imagination. But we remember him every month whenever the board meeting is held, we always, under the family exchange program, all people ask me which is the date or which is the month that we are going to Cochin at the housewarming party of Shaju, sir. So that kind of love, sir, the whole club has for you. Is so sweet of you, that being so far away, still you are so near in our hearts. Friends, things are changing. I was just listening. We are getting two members as a father and daughter, joining Rotary. And I also have examples where the husband and wife, they are there. And I also have example where father and son are also the Rotarians. I would here disclose to you that my entire family living at Chandigarh, me, my wife, they are already there. My son and my daughter is also joining Rotary very soon. Their application form has already come to us, So this house of ours will have only Rotarians, living in this Panchkula. So since you have opened this chapter, I said, let me declare that the entire family of Chopras, they will be Rotarian before 20th of February. That's assured. Rightly, Kuldeepji was saying that the physical meets are, more enjoyable. Yes, sure, sir. Your word is taken. I will approach my board to sanction us the physical meets from 25th February onwards. Thank you, Kuldeepji, for giving us these tips, Now, coming to what has happened in the past, I would appeal to Anup to kindly start the slideshow, please. Rotarian Anup, please.
Yes, sir.
Great. The first, I think, program is on the webinars. So I would, I have a faculty present here, Dr. Shashi Jain. So I would request Dr. Shashi Jain to kindly explain these slides, since he was a part faculty for the children. Over to Dr. Shashi Jain, please. Dr. Shashi, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, many webinars were planned by our club. Some have already been delivered and some are still in the pipeline. And on the 5th February and on the 7th February, the webinar was about the use of phone and serving the community. And the session was taken by our president, Mr. Salil Chopra, and it was an interactive session. And then on the 8th and 9th.
Next slide, please. Keep changing slides.
Hello.
Anup, please. Yeah.
Yes. On the 8th and 9th, the seminar was taken by me. That was about this is about Mr. Salil Chopra, in which he took a session and explained the students as to how the use of telephone can be useful for the community. He gave many ideas as to how they could contact the senior citizens in their loneliness. Even our COVID Rasoi was organized through the telephone. So he gave them new ideas how they should waste time for the telephones on the telephone, but they should make it useful to serve the community. And the children were very happy. They asked many questions from our president as to how they could use their telephones productively and in a constructive manner. So, and this is the, yes. On the 8th of February, the webinar was conducted on Zoom and the topic was it was on the it was on the goal setting, and the students were very happy. They asked me many questions as to how we could help them, how teachers could help them, or their parents could help them in setting the goal. So first of all, they were explained as to how important it was to have a goal. Otherwise, they are directionless. And for setting a goal, they should do the SWOT analysis also as to what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses, what are the opportunities and what are the threats. So, and it was a purely interactive session, and children, you know, they are so innocent. And some of them just told me, ma'am, why don't you come to our school and teach us? You are so good and all that. So I was also very happy interacting with them. And it was a good session. It was about goal setting. Yes, this is a...
And we recognize the efforts of Nandita ma'am also, because she is really so instrumental in conducting all the shows throughout and connecting schools also, so that we can have good number of the participants there. Thank you, Dr. Shashi Jain. Thank you for taking over.
Thank you.
Very nicely done. Now, coming to this projects on community, I would request Dr. Rita, because we don't have today our director community service. So I would request Rita ji to kindly explain the project on Ma, as well as on I think the what is that vehicle that God sent? You know, the children, where we have given them the dental training. You know,
oral hygiene.
Oral hygiene. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, President. So on 9th of February, actually 9th of every month, we observe this project MA, which is Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Matritva Yojana, Pan India. So the mothers who come to the OPD are given counseling on nutrition, exercise, and how to take care of themselves to have healthy babies, and especially family planning counseling. So these are the indoor mothers who delivered a day before or on the same day, who were given nutrition supplements sponsored by Sumanji, and a talk on exclusive breastfeeding for children up to 6 months of life. And this nutrition supplements really helps in promoting this breastfeeding. So these are some of the photographs. And on 6th of February, we observed Basant Panchami with about 95 children at village Kakkad Majra. And the request had come from our orphanage, Ashana Orphanage at Sector 16, Panchkula. They have adopted this village, and children were not going to school, so they were given remedial teaching, yoga and other. So we conducted oral health awareness camp, wherein Dr. Ruchir talked about 5 golden rules for healthy teeth and demonstrated the right method of brushing. And I talked about health and hygiene for a healthy life. Oral health kits with toothpaste, brushes, chewing gum, and soap were distributed to all the children. And Dr. Vibha has asked us to do such activities every month in that village. It's about 20 kilometers from Panchkula. So these are the little children, aged 2 years to 14 years.
Very, very good. Thank you, Dr. Rita Kalra, for explaining the slides. You know, now here comes our own director, Vijay Svora. He's the district chair for this disabled empowerment, and he is going to speak on Sahyog, the project, you know, which is running every week, which is being loved by everyone, which has been sponsored by many of the clubs today, the district project. So I would request Dr. Vijay Svora to kindly take over and explain the Sahyog contribution for this week. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, President Salil. I'm audible?
Yeah.
on Monday, that was 7th February, we had discharged Robin. Robin is a Bologna amputee, and he was provided a leg sponsored by Rotary Club Panchkula Greens. Deepak Gupta was there. And the video is not here, but I would like to tell you, we had made a video after getting the leg. He walked so wonderfully that nobody could make out that he's wearing an artificial leg. And after getting the leg, he walked up to his motorbike, started it on his own, and drove away, thanking us all. And along with that, measurements were taken for 2 above-knee artificial legs sponsored by Rotary Club Panchkula. Measurements were also taken for bilateral above elbow artificial arms, that is both left and right arm. This is sponsored by our president nominee, Jitan Bambri. And then we also took 1 measurement for a polio-affected girl for her walking caliper. I'm very pleased and happy to inform that I have shifted to my new location where this event took place. That is at SPO 50 Royal Estate in Zirakpur. Thanks to, I cannot proceed further without thanking our AG, our Director Public Image now. He is a Director Public Image also, Salil Bali. He is really doing a lot as he's the right person to get this post of Director Public Image. He is building up the public image of Rotary through this Sehog project very well. And we were about 20 Rotarians and guests. We had a district RFE chair, our own president-elect, Dr. Sanjay Kalra. He was there. Then past president Naveen Gupta, then myself, then President Praveen Goyal, past president Anup Agarwal, our own past president Ashok Puri, past president Deepak, Salil Bali himself was there, Secretary Lakwinder Baba was there, our own Director Community Service Rotarian Pradeep Sodia was there. And we also had past president Suresh Singhal of Lions Club Chandigarh Central. And he's a former president of Rajasthan Parishad also. So we had a good number of people there, and this was the first event or first sort of new venture for me in this new clinic of mine. You can have a look at the clinic. We have people on wheelchairs. The girl sitting on wheelchair is the above knee case for whose measurement was taken. Behind you can see this on crutches, above knee patient whose measurement was taken, and we all were there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. V.S. Vora. Great service you are doing, and not only the club, the whole district is getting the advantage of that, as well as the laurels being spread all around, that we have a creative team with Salil Bali and you, and the team of your Amit and thank you very much.
Present, sir, I would like to supplement what Dr. Vora has said. We have touched the magical figure of 90 today.
And very soon we are going to score a century. I think by another 10 days.
Great. Excellent. Very good. Okay.
Discharge.
So people are the treatment,
90 people are on the pipeline.
Okay.
The work is under progress.
Excellent. Very good. But it is such a short span, and look at the speed you are attained, Excellent. Beyond thinking. Okay. Now coming to the celebrations of the birthdays and anniversaries at Danbro, I would request past President Balramji to kindly take over. Balram sir, are you there? Dr. Balram?
Sir, he's not there, I think.
He's not there. Okay.
I'm
May I
there.
request Babaji?
I am
Baba,
very
sir?
much there.
He's there.
He's here. Okay. Please, sorry, sir. Carry on.
See, the birthdays and the wedding anniversaries from 5th of January to 7th of February was celebrated at Danbro in 2 meetings one on the 5th of February, and the second meeting on 7th of February. And therefore, we owe to our President Salil Chopra for organizing all this. And in this particular context, we applaud what the President has done during this particular month as such. Thank you so much for taking care of this. The next week program, which is on the 18th of February, Rotarian Isabel from Mexico would be the guest speaker to speak on international fellowship with Rotary. And therefore, I would request all the Rotarians to kindly block that date and be present in that particular meeting. Thank you very much, President.
Thank you, Dr. Balram. It was really a great moment to receive so many Rotarians at Denbrook. Why we started again, because we were not able to meet people physically, and they deserve a cup of coffee and the cake, So we started this program once again.
It was too nice, Salil sir. It was
Pardon
too
me?
nice to, it was interaction. We enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, we had a singing program, we had enjoyment, we had an all.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Yes.
very good. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Coming to this Asta dates have been changed. So since Sumanji is here, just explain in few words, what are the fresh dates and what is the entry, ma'am? Sumanji.
Hello?
Please explain Haridwar conference
19th and 20th
of
March.
March is happening physically.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So please, members, I request you to kindly improve the attendance there. Register maximum people. Let's see, we'll have a very good, jollyful time there when we all go together in a big form.
Yes.
Now, thank you. Thank you, Sumanji.
President,
Friends.
sir, I would
Ladies
like
and
to say
gents,
one
be
thing.
ready with beautiful
President,
attire. Rita ma'am.
I request everyone to kindly mute yourself, please. Be on the one person on the floor better. Otherwise, it become noise. Yes, Sumanji.
Say that all ladies and gentlemen, those who are going, should be ready with beautiful attire.
Okay, great. But you got to fix up some dress culture also. That what kind of dress we are going to wear. How will we identify as we are the Midtowners? Try work out that also.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Friends, Shaju sir cannot detach itself from Midtown because he was a member from this club. Shaju sir is a part of us of Rotary Midtown because whenever he says this is the governor, and this the governor means the club was Chandigarh Midtown. Even the district 3080 can't be separated out because he was the governor from district 3080. So many things are attached, so the many memories are there, fonding things are there, we all have, not only we feel, sir, even you will be feeling, wherever you're going, you will be becoming part of the speech there when you talk of the Midtown, when you talk of district 3080, when you talk of Rotary Chandigarh Midtown. So it's really a feast to eyes to see you, feast to ears to listen to you, and a glimpse of happiness whenever we find you as our speaker or keynote speaker. Why? Because to address community, to address the members, it's always we enjoy. But I think something is there which is really built in you, that your kind of pronunciation, your kind of recitation, your kind of memory, your kind of, but the knowledge is not to be compared with anyone. I am really delighted to have you, sir, amongst us today. The whole Midtowner or the Midtown Club is honored today with your presence, sir. if I tell everyone to introduce you, I think everyone will have a sentence to speak. The time will not be available to us, because everybody is sentimentally attached to you. But looking at all the things, we have given this honor to our own past president, Rita ji, to kindly, in few words, talk about you. Though everybody knows you, everybody in the district knows you, but still, as in a protocol, I would request her to kindly introduce to the members, at least the new members, the prospective members, which are going to, be members very soon. So over to Dr. Rita to introduce our keynote speaker, the PTG Shaju.
Thank you, President Salil. Good evening, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. The month of February is very special in the Rotary calendar since it is designated as Peace Building and Conflict Prevention Month and is a chance for our clubs and Rotarians to pause, plan, and promote peace. The month also includes the anniversary of the first meeting of Rotary held on 23rd of February 1905, now designated as World Understanding and Peace Day. By carrying out service projects and supporting peace fellowships and scholarships, Rotarians take action to address the underlying cause of conflict, including poverty, hunger, discrimination, ethnic tension, lack of education and health, and unequal distribution of resources. So this area of focus encompasses under its umbrella all the remaining 6 areas of focus. As Chandigarh Midtowners, we continue to impact with projects on disease prevention by vaccination with Project Astha, disability rehab with Project Sahyog, clean water and sanitation, improving health of mothers and children through Project Ma, girl empowerment through Project Mukta, supporting education through Sudiksha, skilling with Sahas, Hunar, and growing local economies with microloans, saving the environment with Miyawaki. The list can go on and on so that we build optimal condition for a peaceful society. And it cannot be mere coincidence that our guest speaker today, in his pursuit of peace, has contributed immensely to the world understanding and peace with his publications and RI assignments. Kindle the Spark, a book compiled by him for the Institute 2006, was released by RI President Bill Boyd. His book titled Peace was released by President Sakuji Tanaka at the Hyderabad Institute 2013. Rotarians' favorite quotes, another compilation published by him, bears testimony to his ingenuity. A Rotarian since 1987, he was loaned the classification of environmental engineering in Rotary Chandigarh Midtown. He served as club president in 92-93 and was adjudged as the best president. Club Bulletin Midtowner under his editorship in 1994-95 received the Best Bulletin Award in All India contest. He served as governor of District 3080 in 2007-8. He served as assistant Rotary coordinator and RI President's representative at District Conference of 3110. Assistant Rotary Foundation Coordinator Zone 4, COL representative in 2013 at Chicago. He has been decorated with many prestigious assignments. Being a major donor, Paul Harris Society member, he's an ardent supporter of Foundation. He has been Associate Dean of District Leadership Academy 3080. As chair, he has led the GSC team District 4910 to Argentina. And he has traveled to 63 countries and has attended meetings in many other countries. Well, friends, Shaju Peter set up his own environmental engineering company, Drafttech Engineers, in 2001. He is a member of Water Environment Foundation and has done pioneering work in diversifying the applications of dissolved air flotation technology in India and abroad. His outstanding contributions to wastewater management has earned him position on Who's Who of Science and Technology. He continues to be on board of the company and contributes to the profession. His wife, Lavi, has been a dedicated outstanding. She will be able to be 18, and we all miss her starry smile even today. Their daughter, Nancy, lives in Gangtok and is working with Ministry of Education, Sikkim. Past District Governor Shaju Peter decided to go back to his roots and left Chandigarh in 2021 to settle in his hometown in Kerala. He's doing tremendous Rotary work through Foundation by being primary host for the first global grant of Rotary Cup Mulanathuruthi, District 3201, where he is now a member. Ladies and gentlemen, with a thunderous applause, let's welcome home our very own ambassador of peace, a voracious reader, roaring speaker, with incredible convincing power, the past District Governor, District 3080, Rotarian Shaju Peter, who will swipe you off your feet and carry you under the wings of goodwill and peace in next 30 minutes. Over to past District Governor Shaju Peter.
In the meanwhile, we have been joined by Sanjana ji, Sonia ji, Anmol Sharma, Ankita Chopra, all the new prospective members. Thank you for joining. Now you will enjoy the feast of hearing, you know.
Am I audible?
Sure, sir. Better.
Thank you, Rita, for the generous intro. My collar is up. President Salil, Secretary Baba, distinguished past presidents of Chandigarh Midtown, fellow Rotarians, Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, I feel as if I've come home this evening. Thank you, Balram. Thank you, Deepak, and thank you, President, for making this homecoming possible this evening. Let me first bring you greetings from my president, Saji Pudumana, and the 43 Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Mulanathuruthi, to President Salil and all of you. I want to take your attention to the cold, wintry evening back in 1905 on 23rd of February, when our founder, Paul Harris, gathered together his three friends, which came to be known as Rotary International today. I must tell you one thing. Paul Harris had no objective of service at all in that meeting. His goal was purely and simply friendship and friendship alone. But the fact remains that it didn't take many more years for Rotary to understand that friendship alone will not sustain the movement. And there had to be something bigger, something loftier than friendship to sustain Rotary as an organization in the world. And that happened sometime in 1917 when we had Arch Clump as the RI president. It is Arch Clump in his convention in Atlanta in 1917 thought of forming a trust which is meant to do good in the world, bring peace to the world through the means of education, through the means of alleviating suffering of people, and to promote cultural understanding between peoples of the world. And if at all we speak of somebody in Rotary who has sowed the seeds of peace and understanding, it is Arch Club. Remember, that happened when the World War I was on. The war ended in 1918. And the memories of the war were uppermost in the minds of Rotarians who went into Scotland and Edinburgh in 1921 for the RI convention. And it is in that convention that they resolved to incorporate as one of the goals of Rotary International to propagate and promote international goodwill and understanding and peace through the fellowship of professional and businessmen from nations across the world, united in the ideal of service. Let us leave the First World War behind and we come to the Second World War. And there is historically a very important convention of Rotary International that happened in 1940 in the thick of the war in Havana, Cuba. Remember, that happened long before the UN was formed, long before anybody thought of the phrase human rights at that time. It was Rotary who resolved at that particular convention to evolve programs at the grassroots level, which will have a bearing on peace and justice and freedom and equality and human rights. When the Second World War was on, when the city of London was being pounded by the Axis aircrafts, Rotarians of England got together in the thick of the war and applied their mind as to what Rotary could possibly do after the war was over. And according to history, the British Rotarians met several times right through the war. Towards the end of 44-45, perhaps, they invited many Rotarians from the continent who all were familiar with the devastation caused by the Second World War to evolve programs in a way that could eliminate the Third World War. A program that could bring people together. And they were the people who formed the organization that you all know as UNESCO today. United Nations Educational and Scientific and Cultural Organization under the umbrella of Rotary. I don't know how many of you are aware of Rotary's contribution to the very formation of the United Nations. There were 50 Rotarians in that San Francisco conference for preparing the Charter of the United Nations. Those 50 Rotarians came as delegates, as advisors, as consultants in drafting the Charter of the United Nations. And it is a matter of great pride for Rotarians across the world that 5 Rotarians have served as the chairman of the General Assembly of the United Nations in subsequent years. I can tell you the name of Lester Pearson, who is perhaps the most accomplished of all these 5 Rotarians, who was the Prime Minister of Canada, who went on to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 1957. While receiving the Nobel Prize, he said, "How can there be peace in the world when people do not know each other? How can people know each other unless they meet each other?" I mean, these are words which have a bearing in the pursuit of peace of Rotary in subsequent years. One thing you will remember, that right through the 50s and 60s, when the Rotary Foundation was forming programs to serve people in the world, all the programs, whether it is ambassadorial scholarship, whether it is GSC program, which is not right now available at all, whether it is matching grant, which is right now called global grant, all these programs' fundamental objective was to promote peace and understanding between people through service. Every one of you who has been to a GSC program, I can cite Salil Bali and Pallav Mukherjee, who were recipients of those foundation programs, who participated, must have come back home and realized that we are more alike as people of the world, more than we are different from each other. You go back to 1980s, and the Rotary presidents since then have had a tremendous focus on world understanding and peace. Let me begin with the 87-88 RI president, Charles Keller. His Rotary Peace Forum, which he organized in Evanston in 88, even today still remains as one of the most significant events of Rotary International, where he brought politicians, leaders of NGOs, public servants of governments from across the world in a common platform to think about programs and projects which will have the potential to eliminate a third world war. How many of you know the history of the peace centers of the Rotary International? I want to share with you a relatively unknown fact about this particular program, which is very close to my heart, of Rotary International. Paul Harris died in 1947, and the Rotary International was thinking of programs which will commemorate the death of Paul Harris, which was falling in 1997. Raja was invited to Evanston by the then leaders of the Rotary International to think about the program that can possibly be done across the world. Raja was aware of the Northwestern University of the United States, where there was even today a Kellogg School of Management. You know Kellogg, the people who make the breakfast cereals. So he thought, if Kellogg can have a separate school of management, why can't Rotary have a separate school, which is be absolutely focused on peace studies? That is the origin of the idea of forming peace centers across the world. And the other thing that I want to share with you is the focus on peace by the Rotary International presidents one after the other. BL would remember Stanley McCaffrey from the US, 81-82 president, who came to Chandigarh and visited our leprosy center. His theme was world understanding and peace through Rotary. Then comes the 87-88 president, Charles Keller. I came to Rotary in 87-88, I can never forget him. And his theme was Rotarians are united in service and dedicated to peace. Then we have Herb Brown in 95-96, whose theme was act with integrity, serve with love, and work for peace. And recent years, 12-13, my favorite RI president, Sakuji Tanaka, said peace through service. I can never forget the contributions made by my own RI president, Will Wilkinson, who served in 2007-8 from Canada. You know, he's the one who set the program of Rotary Peace Conferences. We are going to have one in Hyderabad in the month of April. He's the one who initiated the idea of presidential conferences in the world. But his presidential conferences had a distinct feature. He had all these 7 presidential conferences in different parts of the world, all focused on peace. And similarly, we also had Sakuj Tanaka, who had 3 presidential conferences in his time. Number was less, but the significance was the venues were cities related to the ravages of war. Berlin was the first venue. The second was Honolulu, known for Pearl Harbor of Hawaii. And the third was Hiroshima in his own country. The most significant, the most tangible contribution of Rotary to peace in every Rotarian's mind undoubtedly is the concept of peace centers. You know that we have 7 peace centers across the world. One in the US, one in UK, one in Australia, one in Sweden, and the other in Japan. 5 universities which give the 2-year degree in peace and conflict resolution. And there are 2 universities which give the shorter 15-month course in peace and reconciliation programs, the Chulalongkorn University in Thailand and the newly founded university in Kampala in Uganda. Right from its beginning in 2002, we have produced 1,500 peace scholars so far, who are working in various parts of the world, some in the United Nations, some in the World Bank, some in the affiliated organizations of the United Nations, as leaders of the NGOs promoting peace. And perhaps that's the biggest contribution that Rotary as an organization has done to peace across the world. And I'm really proud of Chandigarh Midtown, who has been instrumental in giving 3 peace scholars in the last 20 years. It's a very, very rare honor, according to me. I still remember the interviews that we had, and 3 successful candidates who ended up in either in England or in the US doing the 2-year degree course in peace and conflict resolution. But ultimately, if you think about that, in my mind, peace begins in the minds of men. And it is in the minds of men that we have to sow the seeds of love and peace. Rotarians of Chandigarh, 3-4 years ago, brought to Chandigarh a 14-year-old boy, Tawseef from Pakistan, who had only half a heart. We got him examined in PGI, took him to Bangalore for a 9-year surgical procedure. And he went back home with a full heart after surgery. His father was a truck driver. Rotarians of Karachi, Pakistan are working with my home club today in Mulunturuthi in giving an ultra-modern ultrasound machine to the local hospital. We, in our own way, are working towards a more peaceful world, however humble the projects are. We have demonstrated to the world we can be ambassadors of peace. We have demonstrated to the world that we can overcome hate. That's the biggest contribution that you and I can make as Rotarians, as the world citizens. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shaju sir. If we follow your peace path, the conflict will never arise. That is the gist, if I could find out from your beautiful address. Thank you very much. Friends, we may have some questions to ask Shaju sir. In case you have, kindly.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Permit me to
Please.
ask a question. You know, Rotary has contributed so much, Shaju, in its endeavor towards peace, world understanding. And yet, Rotary has been evading the Nobel Peace Prize. That has been one of the major concerns. Could you share your thoughts on that particular aspect?
My personal feeling is that it could happen. There is a very strong possibility that it might happen. And, it's a favorite dream of Shekhar Mehta, the current president. In every forum, he says, we are working towards that, and the day is not too far away.
Well, we wish the best.
Let's all do that.
Yeah.
Great. Yes, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, we extend our thanks.
I have a question. I have a request.
Yes, Deepak sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Deepak.
Shaju sir, can you help us in selecting a peace fellow? Guide us. Our
Do
president
you
is
have
very
an
keen to
do you
do a
have
good
an
project.
application? Do you have an application right now?
I think still there's a time we can, if you guide us, we can invite applications. What category?
The application will close, if I remember correctly, on the 31st of May this year.
Okay. Okay.
But
I read somewhere it is there's a time to the.
Yeah, 31st of May is 3 months away.
Okay.
This will relate to the next Rotary year.
Yeah,
It has to be sent by the district by
if they are
30th of June.
successful, they will be joining the course after 2 years. It's a 2-year cycle.
2-year cycle.
Yeah.
So you can guide us, we can start.
They go through the procedure, the application procedure starts right now. And if they're selected, they will join the program 2 years hence. Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for all the information, Shaju sir.
One point I want to.
Yes, BL.
Anjay, please.
You said about taking the service activity in 1917?
No, 1917 was the convention which was held in Atlanta by Arts Club.
But the community service activity.
Community service as a project of Rotary began immediately after the formation of Paul Harris. Immediately
1907.
After. Immediately after.
1907.
Yeah.
After 2 years.
Yes.
To construct a public utility service at Chicago.
In Chicago, that's correct.
That's it.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Now I would request our past president Deepak sir, the man who initiated, in this month, because this month falls under his purview, that he invited Shaju sir to kindly propose a vote of thanks to our loving leader, Shaju.
Thank you, President. I remember when you gave me the responsibility to organize to look for a guest speaker. After giving, I just gave a thought for a few minutes, the name came Shaju Peter. There cannot be a better man than Shaju to speak on these things and guide us to. You are interested in doing a project also, that's why I asked a question. So good evening to all of you. It's my privilege to extend a vote of thanks to our today's guest speaker, though he is not a guest.
True.
At an outset, I would like to say with pride that our PDG, Shaju Peter, is one of the most knowledgeable personalities and one of the best speakers in the Rotary world. Friends, believe me, in many Rotary events going on today also, which I have participated, where Shaju sir is not there, I have heard people saying, we are missing Shaju's speech. We feel so proud of being associated with him. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on Rotary's Peace Program and its contribution to society. Again, request you to guide us on the Peace Fellow, because the President is very keen. I will be in touch with you for getting guidance on this, finding a
Do that.
person or looking for the procedures. On behalf of Rotary Club Chandigarh Midtown, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to PDG Shaju Peter for delivering such an inspiration talks. Thank you. And I request once again to give him a good round of applause as a gesture of thanks to him.
Shaju sir, as a token of remembrance, the club virtually shows you, but we'll see that it physically reaches you also. The small plaque will manage to send you in your Cochin, or when we come there to a family exchange program, we'll bring for you. This is the small plaque which I'm trying to show you on behalf of our club.
Thank you.
Kindly.
Thank you so much. Thank you.